Have you ever looked at the massive AI systems that run companies like Google or Netflix and wondered, how do you even get there from a simple Jupyter notebook? Well, today, we're going to break it all down. We're mapping out the 5 distinct levels of machine learning projects, taking you from those first lines of code all the way to industry-leading innovation.
In the job market right now, this quote is everything. It's so true. Hiring managers, they want to see what you can actually build. They want to see that you can take an idea and turn it into a real-world application that solves a real problem. It's not about the courses you took, it's about what you can do.
So here's the thing that's so frustrating for so many people. You spend weeks, maybe even months, building out your portfolio, you get your GitHub looking perfect, you send out applications, and then just crickets. So what is going on? What's the disconnect here? Why aren't those projects getting you in the door for an interview?
Well, here's the hard truth. Recruiters have seen the Titanic survival prediction project literally thousands of times. Same with the iris flower classification. These are what we call cookie-cutter projects. They show that you can follow a tutorial, sure, but they don't prove you can tackle a messy, unique business problem from the ground up. It basically signals you're still in student mode, not quite an engineer yet.
Okay, so let's get into the solution. We need a roadmap, right? We can think of the evolution of a great ML project as a journey with 5 very clear stages. Once you understand this framework, you'll know exactly where you are right now, and more importantly, what skills you need to build to get to that next level.
And here it is. This slide basically lays out our entire journey. You see, we all start as a notebook explorer, just messing around. Then we level up to a structured scientist, and from there, we can evolve into a production engineer, then a systems architect, and at the very top, a research innovator. Each one of these steps is a huge leap in complexity, and more importantly, in real-world value.
All right, let's start at the beginning with the first 2 levels. This is really the foundation. It's where everybody begins their machine learning journey, getting a handle on the core tools and, just as importantly, starting to develop the right mindset. So, level 1. We call this the Notebook Explorer. You're probably working inside a single Jupyter notebook. The data is usually a nice, clean data set from a site like Kaggle. You're using the classic libraries, pandas, scikit-learn, and building pretty basic models. And your main focus is just learning and exploring. This is absolutely a critical first step, but let's be clear, this level alone is not going to land you a job. Now at level 2, things start to get serious. You've graduated to being a structured scientist. You're out of the single notebook, and now you have an organized Python project, probably with different modules for data processing, training, and so on. You're using Git for version control, you're dealing with messy, real-world data, and you're doing proper train, validation, and test splits. You're even tackling more advanced problems like class imbalance. This right here, this is the absolute minimum bar for an entry-level data science role today. Okay, let's move on to the next phase, which is where things get really interesting. This is where the crucial leap happens, where you stop just analyzing data and you start building real, production-ready systems that other people or other applications can actually use.
And this slide just says it all, doesn't it? It's a total mindset shift. At level 2, you're obsessed with things like insights and model accuracy. But at level 3, the game changes. Now you care about reliability, latency, APIs, and monitoring. You're no longer just asking, is my model accurate? You're asking, can it serve 100 predictions per second without crashing?
And welcome to level 3, the production engineer. Now you're building end-to-end. You're putting your model in a Docker container so it can run anywhere. You're building an API with something like Fast API so other apps can talk to it. You're using tools like MLflow to track your experiments and model versions. This is the kind of project that screams to employers that you can actually ship code, not just play around in a notebook.
So the crucial point is this. A model that just sits in a notebook is basically worthless to a business. But a model that's served through a fast, reliable API, that's what actually creates value. And at this level, you're proving that you fundamentally understand that difference.
Level 4 takes it up another notch. This is the systems architect, the person building for massive industrial scale. You're not just deploying one model, you're using cloud platforms like AWS SageMaker or Google's Vertex AI to manage dozens. You're orchestrating complex workflows with tools like Airflow or Kubernetes, and you're designing fully automated retraining pipelines. This is really what separates the mid-level engineers from the senior and MLOps leaders.
And finally, we've reached the top of the mountain. This is the pinnacle of machine learning work. This isn't about just applying what already exists, it's about inventing what comes next. This is level 5, the research innovator. We're talking about creating completely new neural network architectures.
or developing incredibly advanced systems using techniques like retrieval augmented generation, or RAG, to pull in external knowledge. You're pushing the theoretical boundaries of the field. This is the world of research scientists at places like DeepMind or FAIR, where your job is to literally invent the future of AI.
Okay, so we've looked at this whole landscape from level 1 all the way to level 5. So the most important question now is, what does this actually mean for you and the project that you should be building right now? Well, this table gives you a super clear, actionable guide. If you're aiming for an entry-level data scientist role, you need to have solid level 2 projects in your portfolio. If you want to be a machine learning engineer, level 3 is pretty much the new standard. And for those senior or MLOps positions, you've got to show you have level 4 capabilities. It's simple. Match your project to the job you actually want.
And this right here, this is the core takeaway of this entire explainer. Don't spread yourself thin building 10 small, simple projects. Focus your energy. Build one fantastic, high-quality, end-to-end project that truly shows off the skills for the job you're targeting. It is always, always quality over quantity.
At the end of the day, a single, well-executed project that solves a real problem can be the one thing that changes your entire career path. It tells a story that recruiters will actually remember. So the only question left to ask is, what are you going to build?